Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. Well, the news yesterday about the NRC, Nigerian Railway Corporation, train, the Abuja-Kaduna train, and the tracks that were bombed. Well, the NRC management says specifically that on Wednesday night, an explosion which affected the rail track and the fuel tank of one of their locomotives on that route occurred. It's suspected that this was the work of bandits, but the NRC has made no such claim. Rather, they say that they have sent out and rescued the it's a vehicle, isn't it? They've rescued that vehicle, brought it back to the workshop, and are working round the clock to restore services. It was shocking, but we'll talk about it this morning, and we have a report that went out earlier. Let's take that report and then come back in studio.
This is the scene at the Regasa station of the Abuja to Kaduna rail line. Here, passengers are stranded, frustrated and afraid. This is not the first time a passenger train will be attacked on this standard gauge line, but this is the first time the attack will force the Nigerian Railway Corporation to suspend rail services. Official statement from the Railway Corporation confirms that there was an explosion on the rail track that affected the fuel tank of the locomotive on the Abuja to Kaduna last train on Wednesday. Passengers plying this busy route are in for a tough time, as it is unclear when rail services will resume.
We need to get here by 1 p.m. and they said there's no train. Okay, I was asking questions. Okay, what happened? They said the train had a problem since yesterday night. So they knew the train wasn't going to come to Kaduna today, but they were still selling tickets online.
Our things are not reliable. This is a sign of defect, a weakness. That you have arranged everything and the thing is not working, it's not reliable. But we are hoping that the government will take this into action.
Rail transport has become the most preferred means of commuting between Abuja and Kaduna State because the rise in insecurity and activities of bandits and other criminals have made road travel become increasingly unsafe. Many passengers at the Regasta station are still undecided over what alternative means of transportation in the face of rising insecurity in the northwest region that has made it increasingly risky to travel by road. Here in Abuja, the Idu train station is unusually quiet. Just a few passengers are seen loitering within the premises, but had to go back disappointed. This certainly is not the best of times for Adeleke Kazim, a cab driver at the train station. His livelihood solely depends on conveying passengers arriving from Kaduna to their various destinations within the nation's capital. He hopes something urgent is done to return the locomotives to the track and help his business bounce back to making profit.
Train don't stop now, car don't stop here, because if the train no work, we no go eat, we no go walk. Until train work before you start the work. I think we understand whether now one would they take the fix the roadway spoil until then fix the road finish before the car start the work here again. I think we understand. Make it go mayor, make them look for solution. Like 1 day, 2 days, make them repair the thing, make them fix the thing we spoil for the road.
Kazim's situation resonates with Nkiruka, a food vendor at the train station. Our customers are the service providers around the train station and passengers. Nkiruka now has to reduce the quantity of food she cooks daily as the number of customers has also dwindled.
From here, we'll get what to eat, get something to put inside our pockets. Because if this thing continue to happen, I say, war don't come. Because we'll come here to, this railway be like the umbrella that will put our heads to save ourselves or to help our family.
With this development, the Nigerian Railway Corporation has announced a temporary suspension of its services along the Abuja-Kaduna route. Habida Lawal, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, and thanks to Habida there. We also, to talk about this, we'll be speaking with our correspondent, Lupe Asom, and security expert Dennis Amachree, a former assistant director of customs, He will be joining us via Zoom. Another expert that we have in the house, you were given a preview of him right there, is Mr. Seyi Adetayo, security expert. Thank you very much as well for making the time for us.
To be here.
Indeed. And Dennis, did I get a chance to say good morning to Dennis? Good morning, Dennis.
Good morning, Yori. How are you today?
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning to Lupe. Good to have you.
Good morning, sir.
Okay then.
Yes. Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, is there any development on this? Because the NRC, it stopped short of speculating as to who was behind all of this, even though it's suspected to be bandits. But more importantly to the NRC perhaps is fixing the train, and they say they are working to do that as soon as possible. Any news on that? Because as we just heard in that report, many people have come to depend on the line. In fact, it says 12 million naira a day that is sort of realized on that particular line. So that goes to show you the volume of passengers. Any news on how soon it can get back to service?
Well,
I think you started to say something, and I wonder if there's a technical glitch. Lupe, are you still there?
thank you, sir. Most of them were not around. But then this attack, the governor of the state said that these bandits should be declared as terrorists so that it will help the military in wiping them out. But there was something we discovered yesterday in that security meeting. The intelligence officials also made it known that intelligence gathered shows that terrorists of the Boko Haram group, that's the Ansaru group, are now moving towards this region. Of course, a lot of people were disturbed. Some of them were doubting that the attack on the train station were not actually bandits, because basically the bandits don't have explosive. But then with the information from the intelligence agencies, it shows that some of these Boko Haram terrorists are now migrating to the state. And so we could also think that that was part of they were actually part of the people that were involved in that explosion. But for now, we're yet to get any official information as to when the train services will resume.
Okay, then. Well, thank you very much, Lupe. I can see that there's a slight challenge as to the bandwidth situation, but nevertheless, if you can still hear us, thank you very much for just giving us that, as it were, latest situation report. And now in studio, turning to Seyi Adetayo, security expert, he made the point there because NRC stopped short of, alleging, suggesting who was responsible behind this.
Vandals.
Exactly. So, I think Lupe made the point that it is thought in the security community that Boko Haram people, so to speak, are now migrating. These are terrorists.
See, I think
in between terrorists and banditry.
It's important for us to make some clarifications.
Sure.
I think there's some level of disconnection in terms of what people understand, the amount of information that is being shared out there. Bandits and banditry, they are economically focused. They want they want money at all costs. So their own focus is not to go and attack military or to attack military or government facility. They just want where they can kidnap people and make money. That is the fundamental of banditry. Now, terrorist organizations that have ideology based on, they want to make points, they want to attack governments. Now, but intelligence over time have shown that there is a handshake between the bandits and the ISWAP Boko Haram, because these guys have been able to occupy large territory and they've been able to launch attack for over a long period of time, and the military have not been able to suppress this group. So they saw that this is a formidable group that we can actually have good connection with, and they'll be able to make better success unlike what they're getting now, that has been narrowed down in the northeast. Now there was this intelligence that was intercepted, and it has been going around that since yesterday, that actually before this attack 2 days ago, that authorities intercepted conversation between two bandit leaders, one Smalley and Ado, where they were talking about the plan by one Dan Abu and Surajo to go and blow up rail line and kidnap passengers on that axis, working together with Boko Haram, Darussalam. That is how they describe this this group of terrorists, that they are working together, and then that this attack is going to take place that day. Some media have already carried out that news as at this morning, confirming that that information was actually intercepted yesterday. So that is a confirmation that this attack wasn't just carried out by bandits, but bandits that are already in relationship with Boko Haram. We shouldn't forget the fact that Boko Haram or ISWAP, aside their fundamental activities, also use kidnapping to raise funds for weapons, for welfare, and the rest. So, and this axis, northwest and part of north central, have become a fertile ground for them to actually operate. So, it's important for us to understand that this has moved from group whose interest is just to kidnap and make money, now to groups of people that beyond just making money, they are now aligning their activities with those that have ideological goals to achieve,
such as Boko Haram that you spoke about. Dennis, if I recall, I think we've spoken about this particular aspect before in the past on the program, about the handshake that Seyi was talking about between, the terrorist Boko Haram and the criminal bandits. How worrying is this, Dennis? How worrying from your perspective is this? Might there be something of an alignment between them now, where the bandits now get upgraded? They, as Seyi was just explaining, have no interest in ideology. It was just about their stomach and their pocket. How worrying is this?
Yeah, thank you very much, Yori. Seyi is very correct. We've talked about this a long time ago, and even more than 2 years ago, if you remember very well, we've discussed about how the terrorists finance themselves. And I think this is just a manifestation now for everybody to know, because the bandits, just like Seyi said, are more economically inclined. They are looking for money. But when you look at the capability, because when you look at that, what happened at that railroad, then you know fully that that is not the capability of bandits. This is the capability of terrorists, people who are bent on terrorizing, because they have explosives now, and then of course they are ready to blow up, and then of course they were attacking the train itself to cause fear. So this is basically what terrorism is all about, and it's bad news really when we start to have, because we talked about this possibility of the security of that rail line some months ago, and everybody was, okay, the roads are bad, so we jump into the rail, and the rail is now safe. People were going and having some kind of escorts inside the trains. Now they've started bombing it. Exactly. So what do we do next?
Exactly. Maybe that's the question. Let me bring that question to Seyi in studio. Is this a problem akin to that which customs has in relation to policing and securing our borders? Because it's often been said, how much of the borders can you actually police and secure? Can the same be said of our rail lines? Because the minds of people who are not even professional just went to. So what's the quality of our security on those planes, on those trains?
See, we actually need to be...
And tracks.
To be honest with ourselves. There's no how we can police our border as it is. It's long stretch of land,
yes,
open borders. Our neighboring countries, they are not also a peaceful nation. They are not at peace. There are issues there. So, and definitely we'll have. But you see, there are issues.
But when it comes to tracks, you said that in relation to our borders and customs problem.
Yes.
But do we have a similar situation when it comes to policing, securing the tracks of railway?
If we don't deal with the main issue, it's not only the railway that will be in danger. No, it won't be only the road. You know, we've moved from the road now to railway. Now railway is threatened now. That means everybody, all the pressure will now move to air travel. And air travel, remember, there was a time that it was a major risk in Nigeria to fly. So it's about us dealing with this issue. If we don't deal with the issue, it's not going to be railway and the road that will be at risk. It's going to be everywhere. So that's the issue. It's just a reflection of
what is our capability in that regard.
You see, I've said this at times without number. You see, we need to claim the areas that these people are hibernating. As long as you give them a territory, you allow them a territory to continue to operate, they will have a safe haven, and from there they'll be continuing to go out to operate. You see, this is talking about...
When you said allow them, the government, the authorities are not consciously allowing. You mean that they are not taking the fight to them and taking it from them? It's not as if they've said, okay, so far as you confine yourself to this area, we will allow you. It's not in that sense that you mean.
When you say you confine them, when you're confining people, it means that you are drawing a boundary, preventing them to come out, preventing them from coming out of that access into your own area. That is not what is on ground. What we have on ground is more of reactionary. We react to things that has happened, and then we run after them. They know that our military will not go into the forest with them. So most of the battles are being done on the roads and fringes of the road, not really deep inside the rocky parts or inside the forest. And that is the issue that we're talking about here. And to me, see, I'm not a military expert, but from my own little understanding, I'm from intelligence background, but from my own little understanding, I know that when you have people organized or group of people that have taken control of large expanse of area, then you need to draw the area, cut the areas into quadrants and start claiming the territory, quadrant by quadrant. As you are claiming it, you're leaving, troops to hold the ground. You move forward, you claim, they hold the ground. You move forward, you claim, you hold the ground until you clear them, until we begin to pursue this type of strategy that will clear and secure. We clear and secure. Not that we just go there, we attack them, we kill some, we move back to our base. Because that is what is happening.
Okay.
So it allows these people to come back again and start operating.
Dennis, what are your thoughts as to our capability, quite frankly, as a country and as a security force to do the needful in regard to what Seyi was talking about? Because we've complained in the past that we don't think the government or the military guys or the firepower, we don't think that they are really giving it their all for reasons that we have talked about, which are a bit controversial. That we don't believe that the Nigerian army has a problem taking out, to use the Americanism, taking out a problem like that. But we also had felt that there were other considerations. So what do you think the capability is to do that which Seyi has outlined, which I'm sure you're thoroughly aware of as well?
Of course, when you have a situation like this, what you have to do is to clear out those ungoverned spaces where these people have been hibernating and coming out to cause problem and then run back. Kidnapping people and then taking them into that area and then claiming ransom. I think we've allowed them for a long time. Allowed because in the sense that how can a foreign group, in fact, because even government officials have said that some of these people are not Nigerians, to come inside our country, claim a territory where they live, and then of course terrorize the citizens. So there are many things we can do. We can, of course, we've been waiting for some armaments, military hardware that has just come in. But again, those military hardwares are coming with terms whereby you cannot just use them anyhow you like, in the sense of taking out bandits. But we'll find out that, yes, if these guys are actually bandits and they are now developing capabilities, in blowing up rail lines, then they are terrorists. Because the Tucano, for instance, the Super Tucano jets that are being sold, cannot be used on bandits because they feel that those are civilians.
Yeah.
It has to be military. Now, if these guys are already doing this, and there's a handshake, we know that they are going, I think what they could do, which the National Assembly itself has gone ahead to do now by declaring those people terrorists, I think they should pass it and endorse it by the president, and then, of course, they will go all out to deal with these guys.
Seyi, as Lupe's report showed at the beginning, as the conditions deteriorated, security conditions on the road, people were thankful for this administration's efforts in regard to rail, and people have moved there. Of course, the bad guys, the terrorists and the bandits and all of them, they see that, market is getting a bit scarce, so now they're bold enough to come on. I'm looking at Nigeria Railway has said that we will be getting those, facilities back up as soon as possible. But to what effect in terms of safety? What happened now? Nigerian Railways Corporation has said that it's also going to be studying what happened and how, more importantly, how this can be prevented. What indeed are the options to preventing a situation like this happening again?
There is nothing they can do to prevent it until we clear. You see, it was a disaster waiting to happen. If you look at the stretch of the railway track, it's such that the same bandits that moved to the road to attack, they still pass through that same rail track where they are taking their captives into the forest. It's just a matter of time. The reason why they were doing the road, because they know that they can easily stop enough vehicle and get what they want on the road. But unfortunately, the numbers of people traveling on the road became, reduced. And that led to the need for them to refocus on where the volume. So that's like the word of God say, where your treasure is where your heart will be. So the treasure to these guys are the people. And they know that the high and mighty, in fact, people that can give them bigger money are actually going through the rail. So that's the reason why they move there. Follow the rail, even from Ikeja here, down to Abuja-Kaduna. It passed through forest areas. And are you going to line policemen along that track to say, okay, let's ensure? No, it is not done. There's no how you will be able to sustain that.
If a rail line is booby-trapped, such as I think happened in this case, but we have to wait on them to tell us exactly what happened, is there no way of determining, that is to say, in terms of security, seeing about a kilometer or whatever it is ahead of arriving there? Rail inspection services, having security on board, which I think is an option, and I think they are doing it. How about those areas?
You see, there is something about a will-be attacker. He has wide range of choice of target to attack, how to attack, when to attack. Now, if this area is already being monitored, they will be more than free to move to where there's less focus, and they will go there and do whatever they want to do, because it is not possible for you to be able to monitor that long stretch.
Okay, that's just a physical impossibility.
Yeah, and then if you look at how this incident started, it started overnight, the previous night. That was when they planted the bomb, and it's something that they can put it anywhere along that track.
The railway said, when I read the story, that they had actually plied that particular route earlier in the day, and this happened in the night on Wednesday. So as it goes back to what
that's exactly what I'm telling you, that they can do this. They have freedom of choice of time of attack, freedom of choice of target of attack, and where and how they want to attack that target.
And we've taken for
now,
granted that
from
they
also
have...
the information we had that, no, they opened fire on the train.
But the railway, we sort of debunked that I don't know, but in the statement they put out, they debunked that aim was taking at the engine and the drivers. You know,
we saw a smash windshield.
We did see.
Yeah, we saw a smash windshield, and we've seen railway authorities saying that they are vandals. Already, that kind of comment is already bringing doubt in the mind of the people that, okay, someone somewhere is economical with the truth. You know, it's obvious when you know such an attack happened and you're saying this is vandals will go there with tools to unscrew the rail, the ions, the bars, and they remove them.
Those are vandals, saboteurs.
Yes, those are vandals.
Yes.
Vandals don't use explosive to blow up things.
I hear you. Chris Andrew, so sorry to have kept you waiting. Good morning, sir.
It's all right, sir. Good morning to your guest.
Thank you. Go ahead, please.
This is becoming a huge embarrassment to us. Like your guest said, these people now have freedom of when to attack, how to attack, whom to attack. In a country like ours. And secondly, I was supposed to say, the other man on virtual said something very critical. What is stopping the Attorney General and every other government, even the president, from declaring these people terrorists? Like, this baptismal name we're giving them back, this has a psychological effect.
I don't think there's any doubt that they are terrorists anymore. If you remember, the president at the United Nations referred to them categorically as terrorists. The Minister of Information was here and said they are terrorists.
Down home here.
There's no more argument about that.
Nobody will be using the word banditry. So that when there's this like our military will not have. And secondly, where are these people? It's now making these people having our country. It is becoming so painful. Nigerians are now in fear. See the railway that we are celebrating. Now this is what we have. Some people sometimes go down an Alpha jet. What is wrong with us? The other day now we're having reports that they kidnapped some buses coming from Owerri to Abuja.
Yes.
So that means the road is not safe, air is not safe, the railway is not safe, homes are not even safe. What is happening?
Indeed. All right. Thank you very much for calling in, Chris Andrew. Appreciate your call. Dennis, what's your assessment of the situation we are in now? It looks like, because as Chris Andrew was saying, and you know we had said it earlier in studio, what are the options left? The roads were not safe. Thank God for the rails that you know this administration has been developing. People moved there en masse. Now this happens. There have been reports of terrorists being able to down planes, military planes. The situation against the backdrop of what Seyi and yourself have already said, still we're not going to just roll over and die. We can't give up. What's your assessment of the extent to which the authorities can come back and at least we begin to go on, continue with our lives? Because one of the things these terrorists probably want is to disrupt our lives, with fear so much, and we're not going to stand for that, are we?
Yes, we are not going to stand for that. And of course, we have two clear options. The first option is clearing them out from wherever they are hiding, which hole that we have to smoke them out. And then
with whatever force necessary.
We need that problem in the board, Then the other option, which is technological, which I think we should also look at, although in Nigeria we are very, very slow in looking at technology. When you look at other railroads in other countries, many countries have longer railroads. And of course, you cannot monitor and guard all of them. So what do? Some have already used they like the pipeline, oil pipeline, fiber optics option, whereby you put sensors all along the railroad, and as these sensors are tied into the engine of the train. So as it goes, if anything, any possible problem that will be ahead will be reported immediately to the driver.
Indeed.
So
one moment, please, Dennis. And I'm sure security experts that are also technologically savvy are fully aware of this. We'll come back and talk a bit more about that. But Mr. Mohammed in Abuja, good morning.
Hello, Glory. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate for what happened in Kaduna Abuja Railway. Concerning the question you asked you just in the studio, that what is the solution, what is the way forward? Let me remind him that the train, they can have a bomb detector 10 kilometers away from where the train is. When they are going 10 kilometers away from where the train location is, they can detect what is ahead of them. Even the people moving around the train have that equipment. You can ask them, they know they are security experts, they know it. We can deploy those equipment and then monitor our railway, not only in Kaduna, not only in Lagos, all our railways. We can deploy those equipment and then monitor our rail lines.
Yeah. Okay, you can see a picture of the sabotage there. That could derail. But thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Mohammed. I've got to go quickly now on a break. Stay with us, please, if you will. We'll continue taking your calls as soon as we come back. Welcome back. We're looking at the explosion which happened on the Kaduna, Abuja rail line. Ada has come in when we were away. Good morning, madam.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. You're talking about the explosion in the Kaduna Abuja railway.
Yes.
You know, one thing I don't understand is I saw one streaming headline that nothing was carried, that the railway line was technically attacked. Did you hear me well?
I heard you.
Technically attacked. I said, what the hell? What is happening in this country? It's like Boko Haram was technically defeated. Have they come again? This is terrorism.
Okay. Now I get the joke. Now I get the joke. From Boko Haram having been technically defeated, therefore the track was technically attacked. Oh dear.
Yes.
Oh dear.
That's what they said. The track was technically attacked. I said, what is happening? I beg, this is terrorism. I even targeted it before now. I even included airports. Very soon, they're going to attack the airport. Every place is not going to be safe. So the best thing is to, because these people are terrorists, we can use it to call on whatever we said we have on ground. I don't know why this double standard. That is what is generating agitation in the country. Why the double standard? We hear now, this will consume us. God forbid. It's really, in fact, I couldn't believe it. Honestly speaking. Now, I don't know where it's safe. Nowhere it's safe. Even if people are playing for their aircraft want to be shut down, how many aircraft will you pay for?
Okay.
Look at it from a holistic point of view. I've said my photo. God bless you. Let's not give up on this country.
Thank you very much, Ada, for calling in. Seyi, let me ask you about this whole problem of securing the lines, because that I think is what Nigerians want to hear now. When railways announced that we're back up, those things, maybe films, it's different in films, because you see movies and you see the railways will have a master control room and they're seeing every inch of their tracks, and so they're monitoring it and they can know immediately to send, whatever, maybe there's some debris on the track. Why doesn't all of that, why can't all of that work in our case too?
This is a different society, and I can assure you, see, Mr. Amachree gave an example of what can be done. Yes, it works in other places, but it can't work in Nigeria. And I have to be,
why?
I want Nigerians to listen to me. I give you 1 month after installing it, those sensors you'll be in Alaba.
They will be stolen.
Yes, it is not even the Boko Haram or this bandit that will steal it. It is Nigerian people that will go there. They will disconnect it, and before you know it, it will find its way in Alaba. You see, if you look at all this, at times when you see that telcos are having issues with it because of these vandals that will go to their fiber cable, they were looking for copper. They'll go and cut those optic fiber cable to look for copper and to remove to this, and before you know it, network is down. And you think, oh, it is this service providers that are not performing. No, we're talking about Nigerians that are going there to court because they want to steal copper.
And these are not even terrorists. These are just
straightforward
thieves.
These are just people where I don't know what there's a name they call those people.
Okay.
You know, that is what they do. See, all those equipment will be removed.
So you're saying
somebody's going to make money.
You're saying we have a different kind of society and our people should not be too much in a hurry to exonerate themselves.
I know the speaker the other time, he wasn't happy with what, but because I've looked beyond. If you try to put this solution there, it won't work. Not because the solution is not good, but because our own society. You see, you finish a bridge now, a flyover now, they will go and remove all the railings.
Yeah.
Before you know it, somebody just need to produce spoons, and the spoon will find its way into Lagos here.
Let me come to you, Solomon. Solomon in Cape Town. Good morning.
Good morning, Oga Yori.
Yori, thank you very much.
Good morning, sir, Mr. Yori.
Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make a contribution to the issue on ground. I think the thing I would like to suggest, I think the major problem has to do with us Nigerians. I'll be honest with you. How many times, there's a lot of crisis in the country, and the military seems to be overstretched. They are trying. But how many times have we as Nigerians been able to even the guys, the men on the front line? We don't do that. But every time we're quick to come and criticize, and then everybody suddenly becomes a security expert. It is not good. It is honestly not good, and it's not doing the country well. We're so quick to criticize. Well, being bombed or whatever it is happened everywhere in the world. But are we doing the best to even try to at least admit militaries are trying? We don't do that. All we do is come on here, criticize all the time. And I think that whatever terrorists or bandits you call them, they also watch these programs. And it gives them a lot of what we call boost to understand their dream, more harm to the country. I think we need to have a rethink.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion.
All right.
We need to honestly have a rethink as Nigerians.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Solomon. Dennis, let me bring to you the point that Seyi made about, look, the terrorists is one thing, the bandits another, even saboteurs, but ordinary Nigerians. In other words, we're talking about our society. All of us are familiar, well, most of us are familiar with how even in urban centers, heavy-duty iron drain covers overnight. They disappear. Even on expressways, I wonder how they do it. There was a time very close to TVC here, if you were going to join the expressway, there's a drain you go over, has all those irons, and then everything was reduced to just 3 or 4 of those covers. And it has now been replaced, but Seyi was relating to our society. How much of a factor do you think that is? Because he's saying, talk about all the security that you want, but citizens, sometimes are enemies of state.
Yes, Yori, we have to go back to the brass tacks now. We go back to fundamentals. When we discuss security issues, sometimes we just discuss the symptoms because of what happened. There was a bomb on the rail line. We talk about that. There is a kidnap in the school. We talk about that. But you see, this particular security issue has to be looked at holistically, whereby some of the causes of this problem have to be addressed. Because if we don't address some of these causes, we'll continue treating the symptoms and they're not going to work. So I think we have to look at the issues of poverty, unemployment, and all those kind of education.
Yeah.
These are the basic issues. And of course, when there is the administration of the Nigerian Railway Corporation now want to quickly make sure they restore services. They are just going to waste money again because if they don't look at some preventive measures of that rail being attacked again, then we have a problem there.
Okay, let me bring Ibrahim in Kaduna. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir, and good morning to your two girls.
Thank you.
For doing to this matter.
Okay.
You see, it has belonged. It's quite okay. Nigeria, there is not anything to say that we don't have a problem in our hands. We have a problem in our hands. And in as much as we keep on leaving all these bogus problems in the hand of government and the security agents, it is not doing the people. What is our own input as a citizen? The security agents, they are not good. Neither God or what federal we call them. They are the spirit. They are human beings like us. We citizens need to help the community, community or villages that this thing pass through. They should come out and help us as well. Because the way the trend that is going now, every day we not people terrorists or not terrorists, they are working this program and they keep on listening to people and view all these places that those people pass through. It is hard time for us now to stand up firmly to help ourselves. We should help ourselves. This is the infrastructure that the government is trying to put in place that we can enjoy more and rest all these bodies from our roads. Now, look at now. They just started. This is a very big serious issue. Bomb.
It is.
Bomb is
It is.
now, our people, we need to harm ourselves. Not for government. Please, please, this is the right time for you. You can also use your good office and the media to help us. Talk to these local people in the language that they understand. God will see us through. It's not to me now. I'm not there. This very point, this very news is not collected for us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I don't know what to say. I'm not happy. I'm upset.
Yes.
God deliver us. Bye.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim, for calling in. Seyi, we just talked very briefly about the part the citizenry is playing. Look, you remove those. You can't carry those things, those drain covers.
Manholes.
Well, manhole covers. Even manhole covers. Yes. So now you must be taking them to some factory where the smelting is done. So these are not your little riffraff. There seems to be some sort of.
There are. See, we have the scavengers.
Okay.
Then we have the vandals.
Okay.
Now, so what they do is that you see, when they scavenge, they load it somewhere. So the day they want to move it to where they are going to sell it, they'll bring trailer. They'll load those things inside and use other melters to cover it. By the time they get to the smelting company where they are, they just drive the vehicle on the weighing equipment, they weigh the whole thing, and then they just dump it into there. So nobody's actually going into to see
details.
That is for those who didn't know. But for those who know, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So we're talking about scavenging here, and also vandals. That the vandals know what they're going for. The people who went to the railway tracks and decommissioned on their own railway, the tracks, they decommissioned it and loaded it inside vehicle that were, we saw the reports of recent, those that were arrested. So those ones are vandals. They deliberately went there to do that.
And there's also the issue of aluminium railings on the Eco Bridge and the second mainland bridge.
Everywhere, even they go inside the manhole, looking for copper, and then cuts fiber optics.
And you were talking about how all the telcos are suffering this problem.
Banks are having issues with their communication. You don't know that maybe one scavenger has just gone and cut cable looking for copper.
Did I hear the name right? Is it Blackson in the UK? Okay. Good morning, Mr. Blackson.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Okay. Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Right. Good morning. This is my second time on the program. I'll be very brief. Uncle Yori, we keep saying all the things we're getting, but it's very clear that the government are keeping us for a ride. Now, Uncle Yori, I want to make one point very clear, and I want to ask this question to the security expert. When the Tucano jets were coming, we were told that it was going to be a game changer with the fight against this bandit and this guy. Now, the Tucano jet has been in Nigeria for how many months now? Abuja, just tell me, what is stopping the military for engaging this bandit with the Tucano jet? Since that's going to be the game changer. That's one. Two, the things that happen in the southeast is less. what is happening in the North is 10 times worse than what is happening in the Southeast. So the general was going to declare state of emergency in the Southeast and refused to do that in the North. That's 2. 3, the same power and might you are using to crush people in the Southeast, the airport. You are petting and you are pampering the bandits. Only God knows why. So you can see that there's no transparency here. Now again, bandits attack the train, you are propaganda. Nigeria is a joke. Let's be honest ourselves. Nigeria is a joke. Until we change the narratives.
On that particular sentence, I must protest. I was going to say that all the expressions that you are making are your personal opinions, but I really had to butt in on that unfortunate statement. Nigeria is not a joke. It has its challenges, it has its problems, it has its difficulties. It is very frustrating. But I think I'd draw the line at Nigeria is, what you just said. Nigeria is not a joke. But thank you nevertheless, even though those were your opinions, your personal opinions that you had expressed. Dennis, it is what it is. People are so frustrated. You heard what that gentleman over in the UK, he was frustrated and what he said. But we are also talking about the infrastructure, for instance, related, because it's a related conversation, the infrastructure that is being vandalized by people who are not bandits, not terrorists, they're just thieves, rogues, not cooperating. You started along the lines of whether it was education, whether it is hunger, whether it is poverty. So Seyi had said earlier that these are fundamentals that have to be addressed. Otherwise, we'll continue to have these problems. That probably is your line of thought as well, right, Dennis?
Yeah, that's very correct. I've said it. We have to go back and then look at the root causes. The root causes.
The only problem is that that's not a quick fix. The only problem, Dennis, is that that's going to take time, and these people are not allowing any time. They are attacking per day, per week.
Yuri, if you remember, with me and you and I have been talking about this for more than 5 years. And if there's going to be fixing, I think some of these problems would have started being fixed. But if we don't fix them, and then, when something happens, you see political statements being made, and after the political statements, that we forget about it and all the rest. Look at it. Let me give you an example now. We're talking about schools. Do you know that more than 5,000 schools are closed down in Kaduna State? And of course, we've said it, the root causes of this thing is to go and clear out those bandits. But I don't know why we are dragging our feet. And then, of course, the schools remain closed. So when are we going to deal with this? Because we can start today. Because you can't say that, okay, there is no quick fix, yes. But why don't we start today? To start addressing these issues.
All right. Can I just thank you very much, Dennis, because our time is virtually up. I want to thank you for making the time for us to come on the program and give us the benefit of your impressions and analysis on this matter. Thanks as always, Dennis.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Okay. We certainly have a work cut out for us. That Nigerian in the UK was frustrated as to, have let go a bit and let loose. But we can feel for him, but at the same time, we'll have to appeal that it is the only country that we have, and we cannot be, bad-mouthing it, but, we understand it. We don't agree with him, but it is what it is. It looks like Dennis was saying it, you were saying it, but these are not going to be things that we can fix between now and next week. And we need to get on with our lives. So are we condemned now?
The problem we've been having is all about quick fix. And I've been saying this. You see, right from Jonathan era, because of the bad media, the bad press, the focus there was like, let's quickly make some quick gains, so that we can use that to change or to correct the narratives that we're actually doing things. And it has become part and parcel of us, even more or less like every new general, every new chief of army staff, any new chief of defense staff want to quickly make quick wins, so that you can see, oh, this guy can go, it has what. But the truth is that we made the mistake right from the beginning. The kind of narrative we pushed here is the reason why we're having what we're having today. We're supposed to have come out to say the truth, and I say, come, guys, all over the world, no country has been able to come out of this in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. is always a long period. We are in for a long, bumpy ride. Nigerians, we need you to support us. It's going to be bumpy. It's going to be a roller coaster ride. Some people will definitely be shaking off the ride, but at the end of the day, if we're able to hold our hands together and work together, irrespective of our political or religious belief, we will get there.
There has to be
we
a
will have been
approach.
able to win Nigerians into this struggle, because somebody, when somebody spoke initially and talked about Nigerian people. Yes, Nigerian people are not given the amount of support to the military and to the government as much as they want.
Yes.
But at the same time, we have to blame the government and the military.
Yes, because the people can always turn back and say that, how much support has the government given us?
Exactly.
I mean,
so it's both ways.
It's both ways.
Yeah, so what government needs to start doing right now is come, be open, speak out, be plain to the people.
Let it all hang out.
Call for their support. Look at September 11. The U.S. president came out there and called for the support. He enlisted the whole Americans into this battle against Al-Qaeda. So the Nigerian government needs to come out and say, come. This is not about who is the president. This is not about which political party is in power. If it's about the will to do it, I have the will to do it. But I can't do it alone without your support. So now I'm telling you that it's not something I can do. I need you to get this thing done. Then you now start seeing Nigeria. Right now, the military needs people to tell them where these guys are. That's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the people know that if we tell those people where they are, they will come back and kill us. And at the end of the day, the problem will not be solved. But if they have the belief that even if we are killed, my action will lead to the solution of this problem, I'm ready to be the martyr. So Nigerians will join hands.
So it comes back to, as you were saying, it's like the government, quite frankly, has to ask for the support. It has to to make a nationalist out of every Nigerian, as many Nigerians. Leave aside the politics, leave aside the religion, and just, as it has been said in a different context, Nigeria is the only country we have, and we have to give it our all in terms of support. Talking about the unfortunate attack on the Lagos-Kaduna rail track, we just hope that the NRC can get it back up again as soon as possible. But we sort of look beyond that, and how do we? The NRC told us they'd also be doing that. So we'll see what they come up with as to how this can be prevented going forward. Thank you very much for joining us. That's our program today. We don't do weekends, as you know, so the next program is going to be on Monday. Do have a great weekend then. And I thank my guests this morning, Mr. Amachree and also Mr. Adetayo. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Pleasure is
mine. All right, then. So, bye-bye for now.